You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle Network, podcast episode number 118, featuring the 2020 Carlisle Ford Nationals.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today, come along on a road trip to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, USA to join us for the recap of the weekend on the Carlisle Fairgrounds spent enjoying the 2020 Carlisle Ford Nationals. Once again, our friends at Carlisle Events, along with strong support from Ford Motor Company, hosted another amazing Ford National show. From cars to trucks, from Mercury to Lincoln, from Merkur to Shelby, and beyond, Carlisle had them all. It's time to talk Blue Oval. So, let's get revved up.
Hello and welcome back, Cubers, to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren. It's an honor to have you back with us again this week. In a few minutes, we'll share some highlights from the Carlisle Ford Nationals car show this past weekend. And remember, this is your podcast. Together, it's all about car community and car culture. As always, I sincerely value our friends at Carlisle Events. They host incredible car shows, auctions, and swap meets in America's automotive hometown. By the way, on Friday, July 24th, the first Courage virtual car show was a definite success, with cars and vehicle owners representing 13 countries, from Japan to Australia to Germany to Sweden. Thanks to everyone who participated and really generously donated to the cause. We had 100%, we ensured that 100% of every single proceed, which at this point was up to around $1,300 plus, went to help those definitely less fortunate. And that was through the charitable organization of Feeding America. So thank you to everyone who participated in that, and we'll have more of those in the future, and really excited about doing some good. Did you know you can also help to improve this, your podcast, through your valued, welcome feedback? And we look forward to receiving that at carsofcarlisle@outlook.com. As I mentioned before, I read each and every one of those emails. And another way you can support us too is through PayPal. So take the opportunity to help support your Cars of Carlisle podcast through PayPal, and you can do that during the show or whenever you have a moment, and take that opportunity. And that's simply at paypal.me/Cars of Carlisle. Thank you so much for even considering it. Let's shift gears to this week's trivia question. It is this: in the mid-'60s, what vehicle did Ford place at the top of the Empire State Building and then actually keep there for nearly a half year? That answer awaits us at the end of this episode. I wanted to tell you, too, that at the show itself, we had an excellent time at Ford Nationals. From John Clore, who is Ford Performance's enthusiast communications manager, he was speaking to everyone, to the gorgeous Ford GTs. They have the parade of the Ford GT owners. I especially like the previous generation and the current generation of the GTs that were decked out side by side in the iconic Gulf livery. Absolutely gorgeous in that light blue and orange. There were to all the F-Series trucks, the Broncos, the Galaxies, the T-Birds, on and on and on. It was amazing. And a shout out to Christian at the autoplace.com vendor tent. He custom crafted an incredibly cool Cars of Carlisle license plate for me. And I have it, and then actually two plates, and have those hung in my Cars of Carlisle studio. So hey, thanks so much, Christian. And I wanted to send out a special hello to Deb and Mike Dambozia. And they have this cool custom 1948 Ford Coupe. Their jaw-dropping blue coupe is affectionately referred to as Deb's Crazy 48. This particular Ford Coupe has been in her family since it was new. I believe she said it was her uncle's car. And it is a legit barn find in a way. Obviously the family knew about it, but it was tucked away in a barn, rescued after 45 years of dormancy. And Mike and Deb, they decided to change the bubble top and go full-on custom. They chopped the top, they sloped the back to the trunk lid, then they connected the front fenders to the rear quarter panels. From there, they fabricated bespoke front and rear valances and customized wheel wells. Man, the underpinning changes also included some things like a Mustang 2 front end, parallel rear leafs, an 8-inch Ford rear end, FMX tranny, a 351 Windsor Mill. I mean, they did some cool things to the car. And on top of that, their custom paint job, wow, I mean, with just spectacular pinstriping, has multiple shades of blue. It is a real stunner. So Mike and Deb truly loved your crazy 48 coupe. There were so many fun things happening for this year's Carlisle Ford Nationals, and Ford had a Ford Nationals Select display, and that was in Building Y. You could see cars that were unique to Ford's history and the Ford brand, and generally speaking, and that was really, really cool. Everything from a 1964 Ford Custom 427 R code. And in that continuing display, one car that really stood out to me was a 64 Ford Custom 427 R code. Just really cool vehicles. And each year, the Carlisle Events team really tries to assemble just great collection of vehicles, working closely with Ford, and some of that showcase now at Carlisle Ford Nationals was this year they had the Euro Garage, which was near Gate 6. They had the 50 years of the Capri. I believe the Merkur was celebrating its 35 years. And in Building T, they had the Grabber 50th anniversary. There were just some really cool cars there, including a 60th anniversary of the Starliner. Just really unique vehicles. Everything from a 1980 Ford Sierra Cosworth, an 87 Merkur XR4 Ti, a 1978 Ford Fiesta S. Just really unique vehicles there. So that's... and on top of that, too, they had the autocross. They had the Ford GT owners do the autocross. They had a rolling exhaust. And as usual, Carlisle Events did an amazing job with just the variety and the excitement of various events and things going on, to the point where you really had to manage your time. You might want to be down at the autocross track, then up over the hill, down over the grandstand, checking out the building, the static displays. So packed full weekend, and hats off to the folks and friends at Carlisle Events for always doing such a great job with all that. And then on top of that, Ford Performance was there, and Ford Motor Company had shown up with the Ford Proud new vehicle showcase, where they had vehicles ranging from Mustang to the Expedition, F-150. So you get to spend some time around the new vehicles there. The new vehicle walk-arounds really helped a lot with if you were interested in purchasing a new Ford product. They had the Ford Lifestyle trailer, and that was along the manufacturer's midway. And with that, they had, I think there were 4 different cutaway engines. They had Truth About Trucks display, which talked about the 2020 F-Series, and really quite cool, the simulator that they had, where you could emulate what it would be like as a driver on the Baja 1000. So they had the full hydraulic. It was essentially giving the feel of taking a Ford Raptor across the Baja. So really excellent job on bringing all these things to life. And Ford Motor Company pulled out all the stops and delivered. So great to the OEM as well as to Carlisle Events for another great show. And all in light of what we're facing in the world, I thought it was very well attended and extremely well run. On behalf of the entire team here at Cars of Carlisle, we hope you enjoyed this week's show. Thank you for spending time with us talking about all things Blue Oval and Ford. Now it's time for that trivia question and answer. Well, just a reminder what the question was. In the mid-60s, what vehicle did Ford place at the top of the Empire State Building and then keep there for almost a half year? And that answer is, if you go back 55 years to 1965, Ford actually created they took a Mustang, broke it down into 4 separate major pieces, transported it all the way up to the observation deck of the Empire State Building. And they had put all these 4 different elements, pieces of the Mustang into resident elevators, took it all the way up. Once it was up there, engineers and other Ford representatives reassembled the Mustang. From there, they had gone around and taken pictures by helicopter of the Mustang on the observation deck level, and it stayed there for, I believe, 5 months. And then the car was then disassembled and taken out of the building nearly a half year later. But pretty incredible, great publicity. I'm sure the photography and everything around it was excellent, and certainly memorable to have a Mustang on the observation deck of the Empire State Building for 5 months. So my friends, we have reached the end of this week's road trip. So glad you've been along with us. We can't wait to have you come back to join us again next week. Just remember, this is your podcast, and we want to hear your voice. Email us at carsofcarlisle@outlook.com. We have taken all your input, feedback, and really worked hard to make this the very best podcast we can. Thank you for your ongoing support through PayPal and through your just by subscribing and by sharing and putting the word out there. That helps us grow and deliver even better things for you week after week, and constantly improving anywhere we can. Because together, it's all about car community, car culture. And I will end by saying, my friends, drive well, be well, take care.